This video was brought to you by a Better Planner, Kempower, Markus Bil, Stormberg and Bilkomponenter. Yo, what's up? We're now at the Lotus event here in Oslo, and this part is called the tech zone. So I will do a quick walk around now before all the guys are arriving, just to show you guys what's up here. So we have different stations, or what do you call it? See here, it's the Eletre. What do you call a car, by the way? How do you pronounce it?
Eletre.
Eletre. Yes, that's Didrik from Lotus. So,
Nice.
so I will just do a quick walkthrough here, and then we will go more in detail. But here we have what is called hypersound. So, yeah, the conventional audio system is just best at its tiny speed. Okay, yeah, all right, okay. But then with the KEF audio system and the Ioniq, okay, more immersive. And then this is one. Oh, look at this. I'm also a little bit of audiophile, a bit. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't touch speaker, but this is just for demo. Yeah, so, wow, look at that magnet. So, look at this. So the subwoofer is kind of back to back. This is interesting design on a subwoofer. Normally you will have one woofer and then you have, yeah, okay, so that's pretty cool. And you can see here, when you have the 23 speaker system, it's here. I experienced the car today and I was really impressed of how well the sound was, really. So I'm not sure what's up. Yeah, there's some symbols. We're gonna come back more about this sound symbols, but man, that was some good shit. Oh yeah, here is more stuff. So there will be a guy here eventually explaining all about this. And then if you keep moving here, well, I think I skipped one. Yeah, I skipped this one, shit. There's so many stations here. So you have OLED touchscreen. And yeah, 60 million colors, all that stuff. So yeah, so it was pretty cool. Actually, 1560 times 1600 resolution. And then we keep moving over here. This is the Lotus Hyper OS, and yeah, it has the Unreal Engine. So you can there was some 3D model of the car when it moved around and stuff, and it actually uses Unreal Engine. That's pretty cool. Oh, we have 5G also. Wow. Okay, and then over here we have navigation. I also tried that one. It worked well, but it was sometimes a little bit tricky to understand how it works. But at least it was nice and snappy. And then, let me see, what do we have here? Digital, okay, the steering wheel and stuff. Yeah, center control toggles. Yeah, I use some of these buttons for cruise control and for audio adjustment. And then here we have the advanced digital cockpit. Yeah, we actually have camera mirrors. Let me see if I can see it on some of the screens here. No, but it has camera mirror instead of conventional mirrors. So that was interesting. It was a little bit hard to get used to, but yeah, eventually I got a little bit hang of it. So here you can see some demo stuff. Oh, okay, you can supposedly do some kind of circuit, some kind of racetrack thing. So all right, okay, moving on. Next one here is about, yeah, future. So like I mentioned in the range test video, it has LiDAR that can pop out. So yeah, they say deployable LiDARs. You can open up the LiDARs and start using them. Or you can turn them off. So this is what it will look like once it has been deployed. So it pokes out a little bit from a little cover there. So yeah, unfortunately when I test drove it today, the LiDAR was not active, so I couldn't use any auto steer, but it's going to be level 3 autonomous driving eventually. So yeah, let's see how it works. Okay, and then over here we have, oh, headlights. Yeah, good headlights. It's kind of funny. Actually, the tail light is supposed to show you state of charge. I'm not sure if I want to show this, but you see that supposedly if you have low state of charge, it will show as a red, and if it's high charge, then it's like this. So if you approach a Lotus Eletre and you see this, don't try to race it. If you see this, okay. And then we have adaptive headlights. I need to test that eventually. Yeah, here we have the headlights. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, I can see, oh, let me see. You can kind of see the matrix elements. Looks nice. We need to test it, of course. Oh, it's just like a demo over here. And then we go over here to the performance. Yeah, it's supposed to be like, whoosh, like this. And then here in the performance zone, I'm not sure what's up over here. Okay, architecture, dry mode, suspension. Oh yeah, I need to ask maybe the guy who will sit over there about drivetrain. And then here we have the platform, EPA platform. Okay, cool. Where's the time? Okay, so yeah, I need to find out. I have some questions written down I want to ask. Yeah, here we see some of the stuff about battery capacity and range and so on, charging speed. Let me see. Yeah. Do you know what? The 10 to 80% in 20 minutes. I charged from 3 to 80% in 23 minutes, and I didn't even hit 350 kilowatts. So this one seems to be correct, except for that this one is supposed to be like this, and then the space between them, but okay, whatever. Okay, so now we came to maybe some of the most interesting stuff about drivetrain and yeah, battery and lots of the goodies. So at this location now we have one of the engineers from, well, are you an engineer or what?
Yes, engineer, yes.
Okay, what's your name then?
Sylvain Verstraeten. So okay. I'm in charge of the attribute team. So attribute is all type of performance of the vehicle. So, yeah, performance like we know, but also like vehicle dynamics, safety, noise, so all this aspect of the car.
Okay, so Sylvain, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so first question is, when I tested the car today, I tried it on a 400 volt charger, Kempower. And then I noticed that the car wanted to pull 448 volt from the charger. But I know that the pack voltage at 85% which I plugged in should be roughly at 810 volts. So it must have converted via like a RTP. It doesn't do a fixed rate like a Porsche Taycan.
No, so we have a DC-DC converter on board. So for if you go to a charger with kind of a history like a 400 volt legacy charger, then indeed we do an onboard conversion to be able to charge the pack at 800 volts. So we have an 80 kilowatt DC-DC booster on board.
Okay, also the cap is 80 kilowatts.
80 kilowatt, yes.
But it seems like you do it's not a fixed rate, because Porsche, they will do a 2 times conversion. So in case you have low voltage in the battery pack, it will ask for only 350 volt, which is bad on a 50 kilowatt charger. It seems like you are actually, the car is asking for 450.
Yeah, so we're trying to maximize the power available, that we can always have the best power in the most efficient way for the DC-DC conversion.
Okay, well, at least 80 kilowatt is better than some of the other brands. Okay, and then do you have any heat scavenging in it?
Yes, so heat management is important on an EV. So we have 3 ways of producing heat on the car. So we have a PTC heater. This is
for the cabin, or?
Yeah, we can use different. So we have 3 sources of heat, and we can use them for the battery or for the heat for the cabin or for the battery, like we want.
Oh. So it's not a dedicated battery heater?
So we can also use the heat for the HVAC, yes.
Okay. But how powerful is that PTC heater then?
Then I need to check.
Okay, but you can use heat pump for heating the...
Yeah, so mostly in normal condition, we're using a heat pump. So we have a PTC heater, we have a heat pump, and we can scavenge heat from the drive unit. So the electric motors are very efficient, but they still generate a little bit of heat, which we can use also to heat different system in the car. Okay. But mostly we run with a heat pump.
And can you also take heat from the motor to heat up the cabin? Do they have that mode?
Yeah, so we have quite a complex thermal system, and we are able to judge with a different source of heat, and then allocate to battery and cabin in the most efficient way.
Well, do you know, is it a 5-way valve, or do you know the detail about that?
Well, I need to check with the expert for this. So there's a couple of valves in there. It's not a single valve, but there's a couple of valve involved and different circuits to be able to deliver that.
All right, and then about the battery, by the way. What kind of chemistry is it?
So it's an NMC chemistry battery.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind? Is it pouch cell or which?
No, it's it's not pouch. It's prismatic cells.
Prismatic cell.
Yeah, yeah. So prismatic cell, but yeah, good ones.
Yeah. All right. And then, well, the questions come a little bit mixed here. But when I was doing the test drive today, I noticed that at around 100 kilometers per hour, when I floor it, there was this little, like a little hump, almost like a Taycan, where it shifts gear. But so it feels like it has two-speed gearbox.
Yeah, so we have two versions. So we have the base and the S, which have a single-speed gearbox. So it's the same EDS or drive unit at the front and at the rear. And then on the Eletre R, we have a different gearbox at the rear with a two-speed gearbox. And then indeed we have a small shifting point similar to some competitors.
But I drove the S today.
Yes, today you drove the S.
Which should have the single gear.
Yes, that's a single speed.
What was that? I felt a little like every time when I floor it. Almost as if it changed gear, or it was clutching something.
Okay, so I don't know about this specific issue. Maybe we can check tomorrow together. But I don't know the detail about that specific hesitation. I mean, when we floor the axle, depending on the drive mode, I know we have different pedal mapping, and the kind of the torque build-up is a little bit different depending on the driving mode. So in Tour, we don't want the car to be too nervous as well. So we have a slower ramp up of the torque compared to Sport mode where it's more direct.
I use Tour mode. Okay. Well, okay. Well, I'll get a feel once I try the R tomorrow then. And then, so when we are just cruising in a motorway, for example, with low power, is it disconnecting one axle, or is it doing some kind of?
No. So we have on the car we have a permanent magnet motor front and rear.
Okay.
So there's not so much benefit to disconnect one of the motor. So we are running in permanent four-wheel drive as well.
Okay. What about the R? Because the R has a clutch in the back, right?
Yeah, but we tend to run also. So we have the possibility to do that. But even this clutch, they still have a little bit of drag. Okay. So overall, we drove mostly on four-wheel drive conditions.
Even all right. Because Taycan, if you run it in range mode in Taycan, it will actually disconnect the rear completely and only run the front to save energy.
Yeah, so for us, in terms of R, so the focus is also on the performance with that model, a little bit less on energy. So we wanted to get the maximum performance, so the car is permanent four-wheel drive.
Okay, all right. And then when it comes to charging, by the way, today at least I hit 307 kilowatts, which is quite impressive. But then it's supposed to take 350 under ideal conditions. But is this unhealthy for the battery?
No. So actually the battery has been designed that it can take even more. So our battery can take up to 600 amps. In Europe, we are limited to 500 amps because of the charging infrastructure.
Okay.
So the battery has been designed for even more power. So no, we are pretty confident that it's not going to degrade the battery to do consistent charging performance. Should be there all the time, and we don't think we're going to have any problem with durability with that.
Okay. But today, by the way, when I tested the charging, it was around 23 to 25 degrees Celsius outside. And I've been driving on the motorway roughly at 120-ish kilometers per hour. And then I arrived with 3% battery, and I started charging. And it was at 250 kilowatts, and then it peaked at 300 a little bit. But once I hit around 75%, it was charging really fast, like 250 kilowatts, even at high-ish state of charge. But then suddenly it dropped to 40 kilowatts momentarily for about like 30 seconds. And then it went up again. So it did 2-3 times those yo-yos. Have you seen it before? Is it?
Yeah, so I think so. There's when we decide the charge rates. So basically, so we take into consideration the things like the SOC and the battery temperature, and basically the battery. There's a clever algorithm there that requests basically the current to the charger, and then the charger delivers the current requested by the battery. And so there's the battery management system basically decides what current and he needs to get at that time.
But so was the battery in fact overheating slightly on those jumps? Or?
Well, I don't say no. It's probably not overheating, because otherwise that would be very bad. No, it could be. I mean, we have thermal management ongoing, and then yes, indeed, maybe the battery was getting out, kind of hitting the upper temperature limit for the charging, and then went to a different mode, and then recovered and went back to a faster charging. But so we're trying to maximize always the performance of the charging, but of course keeping safety and durability in mind.
Okay. Well, I think that was all the questions. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. My pleasure.
And then, today when I tested the sound system, I was really impressed of how well it sounded. So I want to know more about the KEF. I think KEF has some long history of being. Is it high end? Is it? How is it? Can you introduce yourself?
Sure. So, KEF is a historical hi-fi system in the UK. They are very proud and famous for the audio system for in-house and the studio. They are really top end for that, but never went in the automotive industry. When we approached KEF, they were a bit concerned, scared. No, this is not our environment. It's not our way to play our speaker, our way to interpret the sound. But we tell them what was our idea, was our cabin, what our dream to bring one of probably the best UK speaker in our car. And they finally went convinced, okay, work together. We moved from one consumer in the auto. They started to understand how difficult is change the specification and the volume that you have in the cabin, the packaging that normally in the consumer are not. They start to learn from us problem to set up the vehicle, but we learn from them how they were experienced on the creation. No, here is not okay. So the way to place the object inside the cabin. This, starting to flirt each other to create this love that we think our customer will appreciate. And then KEF put on the table the two diamonds that we put in our car, the Ioniq Q and the Ioniq Core. The Ioniq Q, it is as a piece of art, beautiful, extremely beautiful, but a piece of technology. In a very small package, you have a mid-range and tweeter together. We apply on the 23 speaker setup, the car you drove today, 5 of them, 1 in front and 4 in the door. Again, beautiful, but the possibility to package in this small volume, tweeter and mid-range give us 2 advantages. We can elevate the image of the sound very high, because with this small package we can arrive till almost to the top of the door. And the second advantage is that the tweeter and mid-range are sitting together in the same physical space. This is a unique capability. All the other OEM have to play the tweeter where they have some space, so the source of the sound arrives from different points. And this is a first key advantage for us using a KEF system. Then the second is the bass. So elevated image, but create a floor, a solid floor for your house, for your experience. And this is done by the Ioniq Core. The Ioniq Core is a double effect subwoofer. What is double effect? The double effect is that instead to have one subwoofer that when move a big quantity of air to create the bass, create vibration, because the structure have to sustain the subwoofer, having 2 subwoofers in a counter phase that's working in that way, they cancel each other, the vibration. So our job is so easy to maintain a super power bass with a low vibration. And second, we can package this very in front. So is one of the unique vehicles that have the booster of the bass in front. We have, for this reason, to not let your guest on the back without bass, we package another fuzz on the rear. So we have 2 boosters, one in the front done with the Ioniq Core and a free air system on the rear.
So the rear, rear, is that the conventional one?
is the FAIS is conventional.
Okay.
We can conventional. Is in any case, it's the free air booster is a pretty powerful with a low vibration. But this is the super guy. And here's the double effect I just illustrated.
Okay, but so I wonder, is it placed in the middle, the center console? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Because I noticed when I heard the bass, typical some system with deep bass, they usually have a big subwoofer like a Tesla, which is in the back, and then you can hear that lag and that looseness. But then here it was firm as if it was under my seat almost, but it wasn't. It was in the center console. Similar to what I heard in BMW 5 Series. They have they call it the high professional.
Yeah.
They have it under the seat.
Yeah.
You want to have it there for the punchiness.
Yeah.
But how many inches is that subwoofer? Is it 6.5 or how big is it? The element.
The precise dimension, I need to check. So
I think it looks like around 6 inches only.
There should be in this range.
But is it really the Unicore? This one? Is it really that one that creates the deep bass? It sounds like it goes to 20 hertz. Is it really this one?
It is this.
That is amazing. Normally, I would think you need a 10-inch to get that kind of deepness.
But you have punch. But again, the double effect is creating cancellation of the vibration, and you have 2 of them. So you have still 6 plus 6. This is the double force of and again also the effect on the seat is because of from the central console we can distribute the sound here, and you feel still on the presence if you play a song that is really using the bass and also watching a movie, for example, you feel really your seat part of the scene. And again, elevating the image and maintaining the floor really aggressive if you like the bass.
Yeah, I also have a question about the driver. You mentioned these ones here, right? So the Unique, what is it called again?
Unique.
Okay.
Unique.
But it's tweeter and
mid-range.
Mid-range.
Yeah.
But not okay. So tweeter mid-range in one element.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's a bit different. Like normally you would have a tweeter and some kind of mid-range split. But do you have it in the same element? Do you have like you call it? Does it have a low-pass filter for individual in there, or?
Yes, for sure. Of course, we drive, and here we have the explosion.
Oh, you have this one.
Yeah,
okay.
This is the explosion this is the tweeter element, and this is the mid-range. So they are packaged together. So the central of the element is the tweeter, high frequency, and they have a very high response. And if you notice, we have no grill. So meaning we are even eliminate because it's so beautiful.
The one you see there.
Yeah.
I thought it was a tweeter. It's not.
It's both. It's a tweeter and mid-range.
Okay.
So this gives you the presence in this point, the wide range over the upper part of it, and this can elevate us the image. So we different and in one unique point. So from this point on where we are sitting, we can have a clear distance, and again the sound arrives from one singular position. This is one of structural advantage we have, and again the efficiency of this speaker with this structure permits us to have a very, very small packaging that is necessary to arrive on this top of the door. If not, you need to go down where you have more space.
Okay. So it sounds to me like Lotus and Kef, you guys carefully placed the speakers. Many cars I test, it seems like they're like, okay, we have free space here, just put the speaker there. Which is not ideal.
That is not our case. Of course, the cabin have a constraint everywhere, and I cannot disclose you how many discussions we had to place this volume in the central console. How many discussions to convince our designer that would maintain this area completely empty. But without that, we will not deliver this value. And for the placement in the long story of the 4 years in which we developed the system, and the speaker change position, we made a prototype, listen the car in the studio, with a microphone everywhere in the car, understand noise, not okay, is not, the presence is not, we cannot then tune the system because, and then move. And you know that in the car also, the material used in the car have a reflection. So this is play an important role. To make the tuning as the interior was also in development. We have early prototype the material inside in order that we can in parallel develop the tuning, because the reflection will play a big role. In my past experience, we made in other OEM, we made all the tuning, and then the interior arrived with their own final tool, and then what the reflection was, I said, car is not sound anymore as it was. What's wrong? And this is why, because the reflection was changed completely. You can freely go with the maximum, we not have the fear to get vibration, because all the structure are fixed where it should be, and with a robust way to not have a vibration, plus, as I mentioned, technology to reduce as much as possible vibration. We are really proud, and I'm really happy that you appreciate, if I understood, the sound system.
But so would you say that this Lotus is the Ioniq, the only car that has KEF sound system?
Correct.
Okay.
Lotus as a brand have this, so Eletre and Emira, also Emira, our other Lotus have KEF technology.
And then when it comes...
But only Lotus in the world.
Okay. And when it comes to the sound quality and the way it sounds, would you say it's on par or better than Burmester and Bowers & Wilkins?
Much better.
Okay.
Much better.
Okay.
Much better. And at least till now, consistently, we got this. So this element, especially this element, is giving us a great advantage. Yeah. The technology is developing, competitors are coming to maintain this position. We not sit on satisfaction. We continue to work, and for this reason, for example, as soon as we were happy with the KEF, we also started to talk with Dolby, and we are on the very first that will deploy also Dolby Atmos in the car. And I can assure you, the combination of Dolby Atmos and KEF is a marriage that is so fantastic.
I need to experience that tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, but thank you very much for the explanation.
Thank you very much to you. It was really a pleasure.
And now we're going to talk about headlights. So with me I have Martin. Can you mention what your role in Lotus is?
Yeah. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Martin. I'm from LTIC. This is the technology center in Raunheim in Germany, and I'm here for the exterior lighting. So we will talk about the Electra headlamp tonight. So this is the first intelligent headlamp that was in a Lotus ever. So we were thinking about Lotus is doing an hypercar, hyper SUV. So we were thinking, what is our contribution from the exterior lighting for this vehicle? So we brought in an intelligent headlamp, which is doing a pixel technology to make a glare-free high beam system, and also some light distributions like a country light or a motorway light, or also a city light, to give a dynamical adaptation of the light to the road scene.
Well, so you mentioned that you're located in Germany. Huh?
Yes, exactly.
So there are many parts of the Lotus that is developed or designed in Germany, like the headlights. Huh?
So the engineering is in Germany, that's correct. The design part is done in the UK. So the designer is sitting in UK.
Well, anything that is designed in Deutschland, it must be good. Well, so you mentioned the pixel lights here. How many elements are we talking about here? You know, Mercedes, they brag about 1.3 million elements.
Yeah, well, so this is the first intelligent headlamp ever on a Lotus. So we are not thinking about pixel size, or number of pixels. So we were thinking about bringing good light to the customer making it dynamically to the road and illuminating it good. So the focus is more on having good light with high intensity on the roads. So therefore we are introducing also a module which is this one. It is a combination module of an high beam boost in combination with a cornering light. The idea of this was to support the spirit of Lotus with a lightweight technology. So it is a lightweight company with lightweight vehicles, and this is a contribution here to make a smart module. It is 180 grams to make function integration. So it lights up to 80 degree outboard for the cornering function and giving the boost. Together with the pixel module that we have, we are creating 250,000 candela on the road, so it is close to the limit what we can do, with a reach of 500 meters, with a good spread, so that you have in all driving conditions always the best light for the driver.
What you mentioned the cornering, does it change shape on the cone depending on speed?
No, it is opening up when you are in the city, for example. We dim it up for the country light together with the modulation of the light pattern on the road. And it is also supporting when you are turning and making the turn indicator blinking, then this also will light up then up to the full intensity.
Okay, but I'm trying to look here.
So
these elements, do they rotate? Or?
No.
Okay.
It is a static headlamp, so there is no rotation.
But it will block out parts, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
By the pixel technology, we are able, if there's an oncoming traffic, to glare out these elements dynamically, so the oncoming traffic or the preceding traffic will not be glared by our headlight.
And then how many objects can you block out simultaneously?
Well, that is depending on the situation.
Okay. Well, sounds pretty cool. I can't wait to test this.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Norwegian night is too bright, so that's why we brought this part with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. But and also, by the way, are you also in charge of the tail light part? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the tail light, we see it on the back.
Put it there,
here on the back screen. So it is a 6 millimeter high edge light or light blade, which is doing the tail applique over the rear cross of the vehicle. So this is, as I said, 6 millimeters, very narrow, and we illuminate it all the time. So even in daytime, when the Lotus is driving, we will see it. So it's a nice feature and very good recognizable.
Well, I noticed that you have a pretty unique feature that it will actually kind of give an indication of how low battery you have.
Yeah, that's right.
But can you switch off that feature?
It is linked to opening and closing the vehicle. So we will not show it all the time when the vehicle is charging.
Oh, okay, but when you're driving, it will not show that.
No.
Ah, okay, I misunderstood.
It is just you're approaching the car with your key, and the car is welcome you, and during this welcome we will show the state of charge. So that means we have a red color when it's in a low charge with a short illumination, and the more state of charge you left, the wider is the illumination and the color is changing via blue and green.
Okay, well that's good. I thought it was on when you were driving. That would be...
No. So that was, you mentioned it, this technology is also one idea of the spirit to make function integration of our founder. So that's why we are doing the tail function and the turn indicator with a wiping indication in this 6 millimeter bandwidth, and also the state of charge indication. For safety reasons, we decided not to take the stop function in this small area, so we have a bigger element which is doing the stop. You will definitely see it when the car is stopping, so that's also for the driver a safety element.
Okay. And then, by the way, the supplier is it like from Hella or some other?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, so it's Hella light.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then let's move on to the next station. And now let's talk about self-driving, or whatever you call it. So now I have Regis with me here. Can you tell a little bit about your role in Lotus?
So I'm responsible about the autonomous driving activity for Lotus for the Europe, UK and US market.
And then, the car I tested today, the LiDAR was not deployed yet because I guess it's not ready yet, right? Well, it's not allowed yet. How was this again?
Yeah, so the AD function, what we call AD, end-to-end function, is not yet allowed in Europe market. So today we have all the hardware available inside the car, but we are still struggling with the regulation in order to activate this end-to-end function. So in China, it's already allowed, and this will be ready in September this year. But unfortunately, in Europe, we are finding a way to deploy it.
So in China, it's going to be level 4.
No, it's a level 2+ function, so the driver is still in the loop, but the car is able to go from point A to point B totally autonomously. The driver just have to be careful and pay attention about the car, but it's still a comfort function. It's not a full autonomous driving.
Well, really? So can it deal with intersection, red lights, and like stuff like lane change, like that also?
It can line change, yes.
Okay.
But not the light yet.
Okay.
So for the red light, the driver still have to take care of it. But for the line change, exit, this is totally capable to manage the car autonomously. Yes.
Oh wow! So it's a higher level than like other cars nowadays.
It's different point. The end-to-end function can be deployed everywhere, while the competitor, like a level 3 function, is very limited to a specific area, and then you cannot activate it outside of it. So this is the difference. Is why we, from our side, we are still level 2+, yes, but the advantage is that we can have a function of a more wide area.
Okay, and then the LiDAR. You have three LiDArs.
Four.
Four.
Oh,
okay, so we have one here.
One on each side of a car.
Okay.
One front here, and one on rear part.
Oh, in the back also.
Yes.
Okay.
But so this gives you a 360-degree view around the car.
Okay. So the car creates like a high detail map of the surroundings. Right?
Yeah. So first we have 3 types of sensors: LiDAR, radar, and cameras, and 3 times 360 view. So this gives you already, when you do the fusion of this, give you a view about all what you have around the car. Additional to this, we have HD map. This HD map is combined and give already your references. So when you combine all this input, this gives you a totally idea about what you have around the car. And after, we need to manage the control and planning of the vehicle based on this perception.
Okay, so you have the HD map.
So it's kind of a reconstruction of a map around the car.
Okay, but when you have the HD map, can you use the self-driving feature in an area without HD mapped beforehand?
No, without the HD map we cannot. We absolutely need it to have an autonomous driving today. The function that we have just before this is what we call highway assist, which allow to have a lateral and longitudinal control. Okay. Without this HD map.
For example, a new motorway, right? You can just enable it. Okay.
Yes.
But then for the full self-driving, you need what do you call it?
Yeah.
Then you
need the HD map. Yes.
And then what happens in the case where the HD map, let's say it's slightly outdated, and then the actual surrounding doesn't correspond with the HD map? Let's say a new building or...
Yeah, but so the HD map is giving you the references. But then around the car you have all the sensors which is allowing to confirm that the map is saying is true. That means there is always a comparison with the HD map and what the car is seeing around it. And then we match it, and when it's not matching, then we cannot. We are blocking deactivating the function. Okay. Because there is a safety risk, we deactivate it. But when it's matching, then we can activate the function properly.
Okay, so you don't make a choice. Let's say you have the actual vision around, or the actual surrounding has higher like priority than the map, because the map could be outdated.
No, of course, at the end, the sensor around the vehicle have a priority.
Okay.
Because we use the references, yes, but what really see the car around is the priority.
Oh, okay. So, for example, do you also take into account speed limits? Is that also mapped? Speed limit areas.
Okay, so then we are talking about the ADAS map then, because there is two type of map that we are using. The ADAS map is used to determine the speed limit information, and it's a fusion between the perception, so what we can read on the board on the edge of the road, and what the map is providing. And then we do the fusion, define the strategy. Do we trust more the camera? Do we trust more the map input? And based on this, we are building the speed limit that we set inside the car.
Okay, because today when I did the test drive on the motorway, it was 110 kilometers per hour limit. Sometimes it would display 50, but then it went back to 120. But sometimes it also displayed 100, which is not correct. So
yeah.
I was wondering, maybe it was trusting some map.
No, yeah, there is we are still this is not the final release of the software first. So we are still improving that for the launch in few weeks. But yes, this is sometimes there is still some tuning, because even the map is not updated. So there is still some situation where even for the user, we don't know exactly what is the speed limit. So that's true that there is still some issue. But we are fixing it. We have the next release that we'll provide for customer. Normally, I would say, we'll have a good performances.
Okay. So you mentioned that when I was in China, it's coming in. Was in November? Where is it? September. In China, you will deploy the self-driving.
This is planned in September.
September.
We need to confirm with marketing, but for me, this function is planned in September.
But that was in China, right? Or?
That will be in China.
Okay, that will be in China.
The AD function will be launched in China this September.
Okay, but what about in Europe then?
In Europe, we have an issue of regulation.
Because the EU, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
EU regulation do not allow us to launch that right now. We are struggling to discuss with this regulation in order to be able to activate it. But today it's not yet possible.
Okay, well, maybe, what about, I heard the Mercedes, you have to drive slow, you have to drive 60 kilometers per hour, then they could go...
Yeah, this is a level 3.
Okay.
But this is very limited on a very specific road and very specific area on the highway.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, eventually you will enable something, but at least some kind of basic auto steer, that one could be enabled earlier maybe. One of the one that kind of like all the other cars has.
Today the level 3 is not really our strategy. Mm-hmm. We are focusing more on intermediate level between level 2 and level 3, where the driver is still in the loop, but which we can load on the more wild area on the map.
Okay.
This is more our strategy.
And then I also heard from another guy that you're also going for level 4 eventually, wasn't it?
Our hardware is capable of this.
Okay.
So this is just a question of have more data to collect in order to implement it. But today we do not have yet enough car. We are just launching the vehicles. But the purpose is to collect the maximum of data in Europe in order to train our model to reach this level. Yes. But it's a question always a question of money to collect all this data and to train the model and the area where you apply this.
Well, how do you collect data, by the way? Do you have a special car for it?
We can use our own car. We have a tool chain which allows to record the data. So we have different technology to record it. Or during the development, we have our prototype which allows to record continuously the data. This is I would say the development solution. But also when the car will be on the customer side, we are also able to probe the data of a road and to download it in our AWS cloud.
Well, so it means that every customer can also collect data for you, right?
Yes,
like
exactly.
Tesla.
We are recording the data if they allow us to take it, because there is some regulation, like a GDPR regulation, which are protecting the user. But if they allow us to take the data, then we are able to collect it.
Okay. Well, awesome.
And then we will have much more data, and then improve our software model.
Yeah, the more data you have, the better it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The more we can have corner case, and more we are able to improve and to have better reliable software.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the info.
It's a pleasure.